That was great.
It was his big day.
Really great.
And there's who made it all possible, Mr. Alex Albrecht. Mr. Alex Albrecht.
Get out.
No, we won't get out. We won't. You deserve it.
I mean, get out! Get out!
Was it something I said?
You ruined my life! You ruined my career! You ruined my show! You took a perfectly peaceful house and turned it into an insane asylum! Get out!
Alex. My God, Alex, what's gotten into you?
It was a disaster, Dan!
No, it wasn't. You were wonderful, sweetie. Why'd you need to kick Jeff out of the house?
You think he's gone? He's not gone, that's the whole point! He's never gone!
Is this some sort of radical new therapy?
You see?
3 rad dudes with nothing better to do get abducted by the crew of the Starship Alpha 2. They're from the planet Q, which, due to a space-time loop, is stuck in 82 and must be rescued. They need our heroes to discuss the latest news and give their reviews of games and movies too. Sure hope you're not confused. We swear this is all true, not just the premise to the Totally Rad Show.
Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 28. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
The Totally Rad Show is your weekly dose of all things rad. We head down to the Rad Blood Bank. We suck some blood out of homeless people, put it through a centrifuge, suck out all that stuff that's rad, put it back in their bodies because we're not mean, and we sell the rad blood on the
Rad plasma at that
rad
point.
plasma. Yeah,
Sweet.
epic.
That was awesome.
So after that sort of maybe stroke-induced rant that I just went on, we'd like to thank Jack Castillo for our lovely background.
Awesome. Based on the fist explosion.
Dude. And he said
Based on the true story. Of the
True
fist
story.
explosion.
He also shows the process of creation
On his blog. Yeah, which I'll put in the show notes so you can check it out. It's on his MySpace page,
blog
so like
thing,
you have to go to /blog, but it will be in the show notes if you're interested. It's really cool. He goes step by step of how he made the background and
Show notes
Speaking
is
of
very screensavers, I think, isn't it?
It is.
Show
It's
notes is like in my brain
from
I think it's
screensavers, yeah.
screensavers.
Call for help screensavers are very much
That's
like...
not what,
If it
that's
works.
what we've been calling it. But
I remember on the
funny.
screensavers when because I don't know if you guys know this, but I hosted that show for a
Right.
while.
Well, the funny thing is, this actually
Bad person.
happened to us one time.
It did.
And
It
the
did.
first thing you want to do, step number 1, is take the hard drive outside right away.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Get it away from all other flammable things.
Step number 2.
Barbecue,
Barbecue!
baby!
Yeah!
Get out there with some hot dogs. Get your hot dogs over the hard drive there. And just think on it for a little while. Think, baby. And you burn it next to a giant can of kerosene that says flammable. Did you see that green
Did you
kerosene
see that?
can?
What are we doing?
We are so stupid. Just
I watched it
whatever.
for a while,
It's fun.
so it's almost like we're the same person.
Yeah. I got
if that's
paid.
what makes you the same as other people, then I would be Robert De Niro.
Dude, can I have your autograph? Yeah, we used to just say, well, you'll see in the show notes. And we had a guy in the back that would go, oh, he was our Steve. Oh, he was our Steve. Guess I'm putting that in the show notes. I have to discover where dinosaurs are from. That's what I have to do because you just said that.
Now we have Steve to be our Steve.
I know. Steve could be our Steve. That's amazing. Speaking of /blogs, I hope you guys are enjoying our daily blog in London. And I know that it's creeping you out that we're coming to you from the States.
That is creeping me out.
In the London.
Yeah, we're in London now as you're seeing us.
Oh, through the London fog, they're seeing us?
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're downloading this episode, you'll be potentially tracking our progress as we enjoy the fabulous world
I hope
of
we're
Europe.
having a good time.
You know what?
Not be.
I've heard. I just looked up on our site. We are. It's amazing. It's good times. Anywho, I hope you're enjoying the new Totally Rad Show experience at the TotallyRadShow.com.
That would be our band
Totally
in the
Rad Show.
70s.
The Totally Rad Show experience. You know what else is a Totally Rad experience? The show.
Let's check it out.
right.
Darjeeling Limited, the new Wes Anderson movie. Rushmore,
by-
Bottle Rocket,
Yes.
Royal Tenenbaums,
Yep.
Life Aquatic,
Yep.
Darjeeling Limited, Owen Wilson,
Adrian Brody.
not
Adrian
Luke
Brody.
Wilson,
Right.
Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman.
And I think Adrian Brody doing the best Luke Wilson job than Luke Wilson could ever have done.
I have to say, interesting situation that two brothers who are constantly in the same director's movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is that? I mean, we don't know what maybe
Because they're
was
sort of
Luke's
all
choice or
friends,
not, or
right?
who knows what the
Yeah.
situation is, but at the same time, it's got to be an odd thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, usually it would be written with the Wilsons also.
Well, that's the other thing that's
It was
weird
written
was
with
that
Schwartzman.
it was written with
And
Jason
Roman
Schwartzman
Coppola.
and Roman
Yeah.
Coppola. I'm assuming that's one of the Coppola.
It's
Yeah,
about-
Roman
it's about-
Coppola is a he directed this movie CQ,
Yeah.
and he's a cousin of Jason Schwartzman. Is a cousin.
Did you
of the
read all the
Coppola.
things
I
that he's
remember that.
involved in his life?
Roman?
Yeah.
No,
he's
what?
like this Renaissance man. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
It made me feel like I don't do anything.
Well, he
with
did
my
direct
life.
the second unit. Just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, but it's
Anyway.
about
So, okay.
brothers that
Yeah.
that one brother sort of has a near-death experience and has his other brothers go with him to India on a train to try to have these spiritual experiences to bring them closer together and try to heal their sort of fractured fraternal relationship.
Well, it's very Wes Anderson with this sort of like super odd, quirky family dynamic and how those relationships work and very, that kind of thing.
FYI, thunderstorm is happening right now.
Oh, wait.
I like that.
wait.
Okay, I would like to say
Yeah.
that I realized when I saw the trailer for this movie, was not looking forward to it,
Okay.
Wow.
as you guys remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Jeff and I were both.
You guys were into it.
I love Wes
B, I realized retroactively, I don't really love Wes Anderson movies. I love how he films his movies. I
Yeah.
love that style. Better in smaller doses, I would say. I feel like it's very cold feeling and disconnected. Just by the nature of how it's shot, that hyper real 2D.
Does he use like wide lenses?
He uses very wide lenses
Yeah.
and very perfect, symmetrical
frames.
compositions.
And movement of the camera that is intentional and
Yeah.
and
Deliberate.
Where you're exactly where
Yeah.
you're
And it goes from one 2D perfect frame to another 2D perfect frame, and people are rarely, when they're having conversations, they're separated by this. It's cold. It's,
And you
it's
like all of
distanced.
that.
I love that for effect. I find myself unable to get into the story because it's so objective.
Yeah.
That being said, I think this is his best movie for me. I enjoyed this the most. It was finally, maybe I never loved the stories he was telling as much, and in this one I actually really was able to, for the first time, empathize with the characters. And maybe because I have a brother and I understand. It was probably the best movie about brothers that I can recall.
Wow.
That I've seen. Maybe I'm forgetting something. I may be kicking
Okay.
myself later. But I really love. I think it nailed relationships that brothers.
Were you a big fan of Rushmore?
Love the filmmaking,
But didn't love
the
the-
story. I don't crack up at his movies. I will say too. This isn't so much a comedy. I would warn people that this is not so much a
Well, I
comedy
think
as his other movies.
It sort of starts out as trying to be that dry comedy and then just takes a frickin' turn, and I think in a not good way. But
Oh, really?
but go ahead. How do you feel about it?
I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I love
Yeah.
Rushmore. I love Royal Tenenbaums. I was very disappointed with Life Aquatic. I had such high hopes for that. I loved Life Aquatic. I mean, I love all his work
Yeah.
up to Life Aquatic,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
I went into it and went, oh, this is just not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I love Darjeeling Limited. I love it, love it, love it. We should say, Darjeeling Limited is a film that's going to be released in theaters. There's also a short film that is going to be released on the web. That the release that we read at the screening, the press screening, said that they're hoping everyone who sees the movie sees this first.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the short is with Jason Schwartzman and Natalie Portman, and it, for my money, is the single most erotic, romantic, evocative, beautiful, sexy short I have ever seen in my life. It captured exactly what it is to feel that capital R romance and those conflicted feelings and feeling like wanting to be greater than yourself and wanting a moment to be greater than what it really is, and then what it is about a woman that is so intoxicating to a man in love or feeling conflicted in love. I was utterly blown away by that short. So that's like what we saw before the movie started, and I was already like, if that was the movie itself, I would have paid full admission price to see that. It is freaking amazing for my money. Then the movie starts, and it's very, very different from that, but it does, having had that experience, it does inform the movie in such an interesting way. It's such an interesting type of filmmaking that says, we're going to give you this little bit beforehand as a kind of an appetizer and a backstory. I love Wes Anderson's work. When he's good, he's freaking great. He makes movies that are like, little moments in the movies are like poems. They're representative of something inexplainable. That the little, he can say so much with so little. There's shots in this movie that he doesn't linger on, that come and go, that sum up how you, for me personally, how I felt in moments. And the things these characters do are wildly exaggerated and not realistic and exist in a reality all its own, but are so, mean so much more to me watching them because they come from that place between reality and fiction that you sometimes live in when you are, it feels like what the world feels like sometimes. When you're in love, or when you're in pain, or when you feel disconnected in interpersonal relationships. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm talking on a kind of heady level, but that's what those movies do to me. That's where the place they bring me to.
Okay.
Interesting that,
Yeah.
I just real quick. It's interesting that we both like this movie, but I always find myself having a very objective experience, and that sounds like the ultimate
Very personal.
subjective
Yeah.
experience. That being said, I love the short film as well, but not for any of the reasons that you said.
Oh,
but
really?
I loved it. I did love it.
Did you not think that
I
Natalie
am-
Portman was the sexiest thing you've ever seen in your life?
I did not
I
think
did
that.
not think that. But there was something to her. But
Well, let me
I
just
didn't think that.
throw my 2 cents in here.
So, you know what? Give us
little more?
5.
Five?
Give us 5
Okay.
cents.
I may take some back.
Like 3.
I also am a real big Wes Anderson fan. Loved Rushmore. I mean, like, I was like, it changed the way I thought about filmmaking. It was like, love it. Bill Murray, I was his first like, oh, this guy's gonna do some really cool shit now that he's kind of figured it out, you know. I enjoyed Life Aquatic. I too had the same sort of feeling. I really wanted it to be great. Loved The World of Tenenbaums. This movie, I think, to me, was sort of my least favorite of the Wes Anderson movies. The short at the beginning, I mean, it was pretty. It was, whatever. It was kind of boring. I think the movie overall to me was boring, way more so than the other movies. I mean, I just was sort of like, this is pretty, and there were some funny jokes, and I thought the one thing I will say is I thought Adrian Brody knocked out of the park to me. I was like, he should and will be cast as the lead in every. He will be. I hope he becomes the new Wes Anderson's new Jason Schwartzman, because I'm not a huge Jason Schwartzman fan. I think he's got that one thing that he plays, and he did it in Rushmore, and everybody loved him because he did it in Rushmore, and that's his thing, and he's done it in every movie since. And so until he does something that's really different, to me, I think he's good for those roles. But the movie itself was just, I mean, I was ready for it to be over. Wow. It was pretty, but I was just like, it's all right. I thought it was a really cool moment. There's a moment like halfway through that changes the tone of the movie instantly, violently, and seriously. And couldn't be more affected by how that played out.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Incredible.
But the wrong movie. It's not in the right movie. You know what I mean? It's like this sort of weird, quirky Wes Anderson movie, and then it turns into this super intense movie that I like that movie, and I would love to see that movie. I wasn't seeing that movie, and so that to me, I was like, well, I'm kind of already bored, and now I'm just like sort of down and bored. So
for me, it seemed to fit because it's a spiritual journey, and
that's
right?
the moment.
guess
That's
so,
the moment
but-
that galvanizes them.
And right before then,
I
they
guess
were
so.
like, "Well, I guess we're not having our thing."
It's a true experience, and I think we as
I
the
wasn't
audience go
invested
through that
enough,
with them.
and I just wasn't invested enough in the characters because I
you're-
just didn't. And he really enjoys slow motion, and after about the first 10 minutes of slow motion, I went, it's some speed. Some
I
of
didn't
it
notice
up.
that. I only saw those two big moments. I will say,
There were tons of moments in between those moments that were also slow motion.
two.
I liked the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's shot beautifully. If you like Wes Anderson stuff, you will probably like this movie. I definitely did not love this movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Your description is exactly how I feel about all of his other movies.
Yeah,
They're
well,
the same.
This is the one
you
that
guys,
he did that to me.
But I like this one. I love this. I loved it.
I don't think it's as good for me. Rushmore is, but I mean, I love all his movies and amazing performances. Angelica Houston is in 5 minutes of the movie and is amazing, like luminous. And Bill Murray is in even less of the movie and is just it's just a joyful kind of experience for me.
I do feel like this is in some ways the ultimate Wes Anderson movie. If only we have to move on, but because it being on a train and different compartments on a train, that's so almost how he. I feel like
Did you
he
read
thinks.
about how they filmed it? I mean, they literally
stages, I'm sure. But
No, they literally went to India and got a train and were on a train and like the actors did their own makeup and lived on the train and it's incredible. And
We wrote it in Paris with Jason Schwartzman. They started it in Paris, like in nights in the cafes, and then they were like, "We got to go to India."
Yeah.
So and that's all cool, and it's gorgeous and well acted. It didn't hit me enough.
It is time now for the summer movie wrap up. We're deep into fall.
We are hands deep in
Summer
the fall.
movie.
We're elbows deep
ended.
into fall.
There's a freaking thunderstorm outside.
I know, that's how
Thunderstorms
fall.
happening.
We're in London right now. That's how fall it is.
Our bet has come to pass. There was a
You
clear
son of
cut
a-
winner. My car has since been pooped on by birds, so
And in the rain.
We
don't
sent
worry.
the birds.
Yeah. Summer movies.
Yes.
You guys.
Us guys.
Us guys.
What do you think
we on
were
favorite movie of the summer?
Best movie?
best movies of the summer? All the Spider-Man, Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye.
Sunshine, Stardust, the whole kit and
All the
caboodle.
ones we liked.
What
For
are the
me,
ones?
Number one, clear as a bell.
Oh shit!
Ratatouille.
Wow! You just made me a happy man.
Ratatouille, class all its own as far as I think it should be nominated for Best Picture.
Wow. Shit.
Cool.
I just fucked my boat.
I think every Pixar movie but Cars should have won Best Picture.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I know. Damn.
So I'm with you.
I mean, that's my number one. by
What
far.
are your okay?
I mean,
So I don't
think
have a one.
really.
don't
Well,
know
what
if
are
I
your
have a one.
severals?
I'm thinking about the movies that I walked out of the theater.
Excited about?
Yeah, like feeling like, makes me happy. It makes me
Sunshine
feel
was
more
like that.
alive.
I'm gonna say Sunshine was that.
Sunshine,
Dude,
well,
I
I
remember
walked out-
texting you
yeah.
guys.
Sunshine, Stardust, King of Kong,
Oh yeah.
big time. King of Kong may be the number one because
Yeah,
that
that was really good.
and
The Bourne.
movie we saw. Oh yeah, Born. Forgot about.
See what it was?
28 weeks later.
Oh, I forgot about that. I like that.
And
Wasn't that great, right?
and one we saw very early on, I almost forgot about it, and I remember thinking, "This is the best movie I've seen so far."
No clapping.
You didn't see. I'm glad if I won. Fairy is being
Gotta
born.
No, they die when you clap. I think that's how it works.
They get the clap, and then they pass it on to other fairies. The TV set.
That's just kind of
I
a
didn't see
summer
it.
movie, though, does it?
It came out this summer. I saw it this summer.
What
Well, I'm gonna say Harry Potter.
Really? Wait, are you not doing it in order?
No, I'm just saying that's one of the ones that I liked. Three's into Yuma. Leo.
That just came out after the summer.
Oh, did it? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll throw that out of the summer bag. Harry Potter.
All right.
I'm gonna say Transformers because I had so much fun watching it. Definitely Sunshine was up there.
King
Stardust.
of Kong.
King
was
of
a good-
Kong. Stardust.
Oh. I was-
Sort of. It was just so straightforward that I don't know if I'd put it on my list of like I'm not
enjoyed it,
excited
you
to
weren't
go.
like,
Right, I wasn't. I was,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. But I don't know if there's one that has been that I've really. I don't think mine has come yet.
Well, the
has to
summer
have.
has come and gone.
Yeah, but I'm
you said it was
hoping-
an underwhelming summer, is what you're saying.
Maybe. Yeah, a little bit. I enjoyed a lot of movies, but I just didn't. There wasn't one that I was like, this makes me want to make movies, and that's what that's my
Yeah.
like barometer is. walk out of movies going, it's a crime in my soul that I was not in that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway,
All right.
cool.
Anyway, that's that.
Newsies.
So we just finished playing Halo 3.
Trace.
And we didn't have time to spend
fun.
in the episode.
I wasn't going to be here.
Right.
I'm supposed to be in New York right now, but that kind of didn't work out. So
So we all played it.
Yes.
We all have opinions. I want to hear what you think, Daniel.
Oh.
I really liked it. We all played together.
Yeah, we played 4-player co-op,
Yeah.
and then we
then
kind of
some
split up into
2-player
pairs. And some co-op.
Split up into factions. And I loved it. I really enjoyed playing it.
I did not love it.
Okay. You saying that makes me feel like maybe love is a strong word.
You had more fun with Gears than you had with Halo 3.
I can say
Yes.
100% I had more fun.
I think
with
it's a better game.
The first couple levels of Halo 3, I had no fucking idea what was happening. The story is ridiculous.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck
and
is
Who
happening.
cares? Yeah, every time
And
we
who
watched the
cares?
cinematic,
With
it was
Gears.
like, who cares? There's aspects to it that are amazing when we walked in and fighting that huge crab
scarab
guy.
things?
I don't want to sound too negative because fighting that huge crab thing.
No. There's a lot of good stuff in this
Holy
game.
shit.
There's a lot of good stuff in this game. It's super fun to play. It's just it's not a 10 out of 10. It's good. It's a 9. You know what I mean? It is a good game. You'll like it. It's fun. And the other thing we should say is, for us, the multiplayer thing is not even a factor. This is us talking about the single player version of the game.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I think that, for me, is where it gets to 10 out of 10 category, is when you talk about value. Value for your dollar. And there's so much to do.
Yeah.
There's literally the Forge element of being able to create your own game types, map editing, which reminded me weirdly of StarCraft
There's
2.
map editing?
Yeah, there's
See, I didn't touch any of the multiplayer stuff.
Right. The movie sharing stuff. I mean, there's so much to do.
You can fly around in an epic Matrix-like spinning around, finding that great, perfect freeze frame moment that looks incredible.
There is a scope. There are moments. I mean, I exclaimed because
you and
when
I-
you have
yeah,
all
we
these
were on the-
vehicles
yes.
all happening at the same time.
I agree with
you
that.
have this war happening all around. You have multiple tanks. You have all this stuff happening.
Yeah.
Those are the elements that set Halo apart.
When Steve and I, when it was just the two of us, he was driving the Warthog, I was gunning. I was getting rocked. We were killing, it was awesome. I started getting rocked, I was about to die. I hopped off. He drove around while I regenerated health. He ran over some dudes. And I was like, pick me up. I hopped back in and we were back. I mean, like, the fact that
There's
moment could
amazing moments,
happen.
like, dude, when the four of us were all on the Scarab and somebody finally found the way to kill the Scarab, and
We were like,
all
"Run up, jump
everybody
up!"
get up! And it
Yeah.
was like scattering. I mean, there's
Yes.
that to me definitely puts it above a Gears of War because there were no elements like that.
It's easy to pick up.
Yep.
You instantly know what
Very
those weapons
intuitive.
do and why they're different from each other.
Yeah.
And they get right the playing with other people aspect.
Yes.
And they know that that's really important.
I say,
So,
no way, it shouldn't be a 10. It's a great game. It's not an
do you
amazing game.
do you see there being a better game this year?
There already has been.
Which is
I don't know.
Dan?
World of Warcraft. No, I'm
World
just
of
kidding.
Warcraft. Okay, Dan.
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I really had a great experience, but what kept on tripping me up was when our buddies but it's just a first person. It's just still, I'm like, yeah, but there's these great moments. And then I was like, well, dude, you got to play Gears of War because for Gears of War, it's not just a first person shooter. It did things differently.
Well, I mean, I think you're not going to find, other than maybe Orange Box, there's not going to be a better value for your dollar.
I agree
for
with
video
that.
game.
I agree with that. But you asked me if there was a better game.
No, I agree, and I already can't. I think BioShock for me was a better experience already.
Yeah.
But pure fun, sort of just playing with my buddies.
Dude, as soon as we finish this, we're gonna go play it on Legendary.
Well, let's go, dude. So we're doing comics again, and I would like to say that, first of all, one of the big things that we've been talking about is our desire to do comics more frequently. So
Correct.
I hope by saying it on the show and making that widely known, we have a lot of comics that we are in the process of reading and we want to get to, but I would
Yeah.
like to get a more regular comic section. I think
I would
a lot
love
of
to
people
do that.
out there are interested
I
in
felt that way about TVs. I felt like we got away from comics and TV. because the bread and butter's so freaking good. There's so much shit to talk about in movies and video games.
Excuse me, a lot of movies in the summer, a lot of video games.
So hopefully we'll get back on track.
So we're hoping to do more comics more frequently. The comic we're going to talk about today, first of all, is one that many a viewer has emailed me and said, "Hey Jeff, why aren't you talking about this comic on the show?" And to be honest, it's because I wasn't reading it. And that comic is Invincible.
Yeah.
By published by Image by Robert Kirkman.
Okay.
And it's about the son of a Superman type hero, an analog of Superman, who also has superpowers, and he's sort of coming of age in high school. He's sort of the Peter Parker, Spider-Man age.
Yeah.
And so he's sort of an amalgam of Peter Parker and like Superboy and discovering his powers and sort of starting a crime-fighting career in a very classic superhero universe where superheroism is treated in a very a golden age way, where superheroes are looked up to. It's not that dark and gritty thing. It's
very apple. It was very apple pie.
Right.
Very touching. Actually, the first book.
Universe.
This is a comic.
It's very funny.
Yeah. Well, this is a comic that has been going on for a while now, and it is one that has gotten a lot of critical acclaim, and one that, for whatever reason, I never read. I looked at it, love the art.
Yeah.
Love the art. Fan of the writer, but didn't. I didn't. For whatever reason, it just didn't look like something I would enjoy. It
didn't
looked
jump
a little,
off the page for you.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you love of? Because this is also the guy who does Walking Dead, which we've both don't read, or none of us read.
Right.
But he's acclaimed for that as well. What do you read of his? What else is? I don't know from anything else other than Walking Dead.
Oh God, he did a run of. You put me on the spot.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I don't know.
Okay. It's like I know
the
name because you loved him that one time, and you're like every time you saw him again. I know what you're saying. It's cool.
Yeah.
You don't lose credit with me.
Well, I lose credit with everybody else.
Yes.
I've never owned cred.
But the
comic
point is,
book
like,
space.
it was released at a time when Image was kind of releasing a whole bunch of new superhero titles and kind of doing a whole new line. And it's the one that really caught on with a lot of people, and I never read it.
Well, let's talk about it.
A lot of people told us to talk about it on the show.
Yeah,
so
actually,
I read the first year's worth of the thing. You guys read it too.
Is that the first 3 trades? Is about a year.
Yeah, about 12 issues. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
Oh.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Do that. More of that.
Yeah, boss. Yeah, boss.
Yeah. I don't know why that happened. I read the first 2.5, and it was really funny. After I read the first trade, which I loved. I mean, I was like, this is my kind of comic book.
Really?
Rated in the put it in the
comic
scale.
rating.
Did you like it more than Ultimates? More than Powers?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say I liked it more than Ultimates.
What did you like about it?
I liked that it was funny, and I liked that it was funny in a way of like knowing that it was dorky and sort of being okay with that. And I also liked, like, some of the moments were really funny. Like, there's sort of visual gags in it that are really cool. And I thought the story was really sweet, that there's, like, this, this kid who's just some, Ted number 2 from, Idaho in high school having fun. And then his dad sits him down and is like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm actually an alien superhero that you're probably going to get superpowers. And the guy's just like, what?
Yeah.
And then there's that whole growing period of learning to become a superhero, but under the tutelage of his father.
Right.
And then to me, it just was so cool. And then I finished the first trade, and I was like, oh, I'm excited to talk about this, and blah, blah, blah. And that's when everybody was like, well, that's not really what the comic's about.
Right.
And I went,
there's a big twist at the
wow.
end of year 1. Issue 12 or 13, there's a big...
Well, the big twist starts...
So I can't
The big twist starts halfway through the second trade.
Right.
Is where it starts to get hinted that there is some sort of giant twist.
Right.
Which
how
I
how the comic was pitched originally. This was the idea all along, and the first year of comics was all
leading
enormous
up to
setup to this big moment. And I mean, I don't know if
that's
it's even a
interesting.
spoiler at this point. Do you think it's a spoiler to say what
Well,
it is?
I think let's talk more about it.
All right. Well,
first.
did you like the comic reading it?
I definitely really enjoyed reading it. I didn't have Alex's experience. I think you got it more than I did.
Yeah. Well, you're not a huge superhero comic fan.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm going to say.
Because this is a superhero comic.
Right. Well, yeah. No,
Far.
yeah,
This is
sure.
like 4-color,
But the thing
old
about
school,
this-
like
Yeah.
Stan Lee.
Cool.
Here's the thing. Here's my take on Invincible. I definitely enjoyed reading it. It's a good, enjoyable, light. I'm enjoying reading it. I don't think it was as funny to me as I wish it was. It wasn't hysterical. A moment here and there is funny. It kind of felt Shrek funny.
Well,
Like-
I was just about to say, it's more Shrek funny than it is Buffy funny.
Right.
I mean, Buffy
Yeah.
funny is a differerent funny than
Right.
this.
Oh,
And you love Buffy funny.
Yeah, I do. And it's like the school is Reginald Bell Johnson High School. You know, it's
Right.
like, which is the dude star of Family Matters. Which, by the way, every trade, the first trade's called Family Matters. The second trade is Eight is Enough. The third trade is Perfect Strangers.
Ha.
And in
That's funny.
comprehending that, I was like, okay, so he's sort of like effing with what we know as the traditional sitcom,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I felt while reading it, but I didn't think he was super successful. Like, it reminded me of that scene in Natural Born Killers, where it's like the sitcom, it's shot like a sitcom, but
Yeah.
they're talking about murdering and incest, and
Yeah.
it felt like he's like, this is a sitcom, but it's crazy how superheroes, and mom's upset that he's not home for dinner. I felt that cheese factor without the irony a little bit.
That's interesting.
Later, and realizing, I was like, oh, I guess he was being ironic, but it didn't feel. I would say that I'm going to equate.
Give it to us, Dan.
This is for Jeff and Jerry, our friend Jerry. And I don't want to get into a whole big discussion about these movies I'm going to equate it to, but to me, between Powers and Invincible, which Powers to me of the postmodern superhero that exists in a world like we know it now, and that interacts with people like in real words that we use. Powers is like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Invincible is like the Mummy movies.
Oh.
They both.
Oh no, he's
I
the one
see
that
what
hates
you're
the
saying.
Raiders and
movies.
Mummy,
I see what you're
Powers and Invincible.
I hear ya.
Raiders is like excellent, and Powers are excellent, hysterical when they're being funny, awesome action when there's awesome action. The way that filmmaking in Raiders and the filmmaking in Powers is, I mean, the storytelling, the way that those frames are, the layout, incredible. Invincible is doing a similar thing.
It's a maturity.
It is, because I was going to say Powers to me.
Those movies and those comics.
Well, but I was going to say, because Powers to me wasn't action-y enough by any stretch of the imagination.
Powers is a mature.
The majority of the book, nothing superhero-y happens.
I mean, Powers
And
is
so-
clearly an adult
Yeah.
take, and Raiders is an adult take on that genre also. I mean,
Yeah.
not in a adult way, but
Yeah, it's just
in
not-
a sort of mature and fully realized way. Whereas The Mummy and which is a movie I hate, but Invincible are they're
Lighter
less
fare.
mature.
They're like
Exactly.
popcorn. Although
Invincible
they're very
feels
serious,
like-
though. I mean, when the
until the
twist
second-
when
right.
the twist starts, it's
Before
like
that-
that's more blood than I need to see.
Before that moment,
Although I
it felt
liked it a
like a
lot.
Sunday comic.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
like a
Well, but I think
comic
that's what.
strip.
But I think that's what it was supposed to do.
Yes.
Is that it was?
Rule you
Yeah.
to a sense of
Right. It's like, look how great this is. Holy crap! Did that just happen?
But
And then, well,
the
that
twist,
couldn't have
though,
happened.
I will say,
awesome.
when he, this doesn't spoil because it means nothing unless you're reading. But
Unless you reading.
you, Dad, I'd have you moment.
Wait,
Forget it.
did I miss that? What?
You're not there yet.
the
Well, thank you for that moment.
No, but you won't.
No. Yeah.
I wasn't loving this book until that happened.
Interesting.
And I
Well,
I felt like, I mean, maybe it's because I've read a lot more comics overall than you, a lot more superhero comics certainly than you guys have.
yeah.
And I felt like another one where we
no,
have
I
the analog.
agree with that. Dude.
Where we have the Superman analog, where we have the JLA analogs, where we have the X-Men analogs, like another one of those. I've seen those tropes explored in interesting ways before, and I don't need to see that trotted out again. But then when we see
Well,
the
they had some
JLA,
nods too. I mean, like they had the guy who looks a little bit like Rorschach.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the Powers people are in there.
That's what I find. Yeah, totally. That's why I find Shrek humor.
Yeah.
Like, see how this is that?
Yeah.
But then when you have the JLA, clear JLA analogs in an issue introduced
Yeah.
and then slaughtered,
Yes.
I mean that was when I set up and went, oh, okay,
Did
where's
that
this
just
going?
happen? Right. Yeah.
And then it completely subverts the whole thing, and it becomes a completely different book, and that's where I was hooked. And that's why I've read past year one, and now I'm like, oh wow, I'm really digging this.
But
Yeah.
it needs to be said that this is also a hook that has been explored in Runaways.
True.
Yet-
I actually think maybe Runaways came after this, Time Waits Ways. I think so.
that's
I don't know the
interesting.
timeline because this
Which is one that you're going to get to as well. We're
What's
gonna
Runaways?
get to.
It's about runaways.
Yeah, it's a.
Let's not describe it right now
Pickpockets?
because then it may spoil.
Okay, don't describe it. Stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
Stop.
It's a good book. Pick up a book.
But I'm
no.
actually very excited because this was Invincible was one that Invincible was one of those books that because I feel like with Watchmen I had to read it. I had to be like, okay, I need to read Watchmen, and then Ultimates I kind of flew through. Surrogates I'm having a little bit of that it hasn't made the leap from the can to the bed.
But you haven't jacked out of it yet, right?
Oh, geez.
Remember how we talked about that? You and your jacking.
I'm just here for you guys.
He's
I totally
being
had
monkey
to
pants.
give you the JLA segue and you didn't take it.
Oh, we do need to talk about
That's it.
JLA.
Oh, you threw off a segment. I mean, a
you,
segue.
you probably spoke too.
You
When you were saying
I
it.
was ready to go.
Yeah.
Well,
JLA.
coffee.
Speaking of
Speaking of
coffee.
coffee, JLA, Justice League. They're making the Justice League movie,
Yeah.
and
That was it. That was
two
the one?
interesting tidbits. Two interesting
Okay.
tidbits. A, it's
Tidbit it
actually
away.
happening. Okay.
Okay, that's a good
three.
tidbit.
A, it's actually happening. 'Cause
Okay.
This sounded like this always felt like to me like
The Halo movie?
Go, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da, da.
Yeah.
George Miller is directing. George Miller, director of Babe, Pig in the City, but also
Not a bad
Mad
movie.
Max, Beyond Thunderdome, Road Warrior.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Maybe
Dan
you know-
sarcasm
Maybe a
voice
little
will let you know
sarcasm-
that
sarcasm
you should have
voice.
seen it.
So
Yeah, sure, maybe he did West, but he also did.
we're getting kind of rad.
That's starting to
totally
get
rad
up there.
yet.
Not totally
totally
rad. And here's the thing that I think bears discussing because Jeff had this phenomenal idea to make the Ultimates movie where we've already got Spider-Man, we've already got blah blah blah, and
Blah, blah,
they
blah.
can be.
Yep.
And
He's got
blah,
good
my
powers.
favorite. Blah
I know.
blah blah. They said officially that it's not going to be Christian Bale as Batman, and it's not going to be Brandon Routh as Superman. So that means in this movie there is going to be a different, which automatically makes me feel less than.
Exactly.
Right?
Of course.
It just lends
It's not
to
a team-up movie now. It's,
No,
it's this other thing.
It's a new movie.
But wasn't there talk about it being all CGI or all?
Oh, that's right. That came out way back in the day.
Yeah.
But what they said now is that it's going to have CGI elements. But I think
Oh,
it'll be
how
real
could it
people.
not?
I know, right?
I think it's like
No
yeah.
superhero
Dark
could
stuff.
do it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Handheld. We're gonna shoot this gorilla style in the streets
We're
of Prague.
casting
So
a man from Krypton.
yeah. So what do you?
That's a
think?
great
I mean, yeah,
casting
it's
call.
like it's
There were
like
only two
how-
people auditioned. It was crazy.
It just makes me feel jank. It's like it's
Well,
not too
if
bad
it's-
quality.
if they-
How
Yeah.
epic would that have been, though, to have these epic franchises?
expensive.
Too
Yeah,
expensive.
well, it's very too
But then
expensive.
you
Although
make that, and
Yeah, but
'cause I
X-Men
remember.
there was no. I mean, it's not like you
guess-
couldn't get Tobey Maguire. You can barely get Tobey Maguire to do a Spider-Man 4 for enough
doing
money.
those
You could. Do you
schedules,
think he's going to
too.
do like a JLA hyper thing with
Well.
Christian Bale where he's not the lead? And
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
couldn't be
wait,
him,
what?
but yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but
but
those guys who are
but you know what I
leads of
mean.
movies
Like,
deciding to not be a lead in the movie, and to have that crazy difficult schedule where their star schedule has to be
Well, but there was
coexist
a-
with another star's schedule.
Yeah,
They were
I know,
originally talking about doing just Superman versus Batman as a
Wolfgang Peterson.
Wolfgang Peterson was going to do it, yeah.
That's
But then that would have been cool, very, very
Yeah.
cool. But I think if Marvel, can you imagine if Marvel does what DC isn't doing, where if they have this Ed Norton
Hulk.
movie,
Yeah.
and they
Oh yeah, Tony Stark.
yeah, and they have this Iron Man movie
Yeah.
with Robert Downey Jr. And they cast people who aren't the top of the top stars, but they have these interesting. And then they can
Well,
do a crossover.
actually,
listen, they can
yeah.
do a crossover where the plot of the movie is they discover Captain America frozen in ice.
Yeah.
And then that launches a Captain America movie.
I know.
Well, Thor. They,
Yeah.
it's
There's a Thor
rumored
script.
that Kevin McKidd
Yeah.
from Journeyman is going to be Thor.
Well, more comics coming soon.
All right, welcome to Forums. This is the open mailbag forum in the TotallyRatchet.com's forums.
Yes, it is, Dan.
This is where we try to do a little rapid fire action.
Exactly.
Shall we kick some rapid fire?
We jumped into one of the last pages, and the first one we got is from Jor-El. Hey guys, just started watching your show and I love it so far. Looking for some advice on the new consoles. If you had to pick one next-gen system to get, which one would it be and why, regardless of cost? Thanks and hello from Wisconsin.
Well, hello from the cheese state. 360.
360.
360.
It's just you can't.
There's
deny
nothing.
It.
No, I mean,
BioShock, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
no logic.
even without
Orange Box,
even without those
Halo 3.
games, still 360. I mean, there's two exclusives that are even worth playing on the PS3: Warhawk and Heavenly Sword. We've already talked about both of them.
I sense that Drake's Fortune is going to be amazing, and
But
Ratchet
you don't buy.
Clank,
But if he's
Yeah.
debating between.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I said 360.
360, 360, 360.
C. Wilkie. My question is.
Oh Jesus, see
Better
Wilkie.
Batman, Bale or Keaton?
Oh fuck, that is hard.
Keaton. I went there.
I know you did, and I
Bam.
wanted to.
Well, I like Sherlock Jr. and.
I'm sure he's happy you called him that.
No.
Keaton, dude. I'll take
Buster
Keaton any
Keaton.
day of
I
the
was
week.
gonna- I think they're similar yet different. They're equal.
Yeah.
Like
Make a
brothers.
choice. Man up.
I'm gonna hate myself in the morning, but I'm gonna say Bale.
Ooh.
I'm gonna hate myself in the morning
Yeah,
because
you're
Keaton.
Mr. Keaton.
I'm Mr. Keaton. I'm Mr. Mom. Are you
Mr.
kidding me?
Mom.
Like what?
right.
That's epic. But I think Bale.
Dude,
Bale did
do
it.
you,
Bale did
in
it.
fact, want to get nuts?
I do. Let's get nuts. And you know how much I love that. We all know how much I love that. But I'm gonna say Bale.
I'm gonna say Bale.
Wow. I mean, no, you said it. Move on.
Yeah, move on. You said it.
Bale.
You said it.
Said it, move on.
Bale's
No.
better Batman. Keaton better Bruce Wayne.
Said it. Move on. Said it. Move on.
That wasn't the question. Wasn't the question.
The Batman. That's who was better Batman.
That's it.
And I said Bale.
Me too. We won.
All right. The Matman says, "Hello, TRS crew. I've been watching since episode 1, and I'm glad I decided to check it out. My question for you is, if you could rewrite the ending of any movie,
Oh, Jesus.
which one would it be, and why?"
And
why?
Wow.
I got it.
Go.
What?
I was thinking while we were. Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, because I love that movie except for the last 5 seconds, and I don't understand. It was such an absurd choice to make that mom waiting at the door, the whole parents waiting at the door. It's an absurd behavior. It doesn't make any sense. And it's so sappy and so cheesy, and the rest of the movie to me is great.
Going?
Well, not after that one. I mean, that was perfect. I don't know if I have. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, I'm making a lot of flames for this. The original Star Wars.
A New Hope?
Yeah, the whole metal scene, I love it and it resonates with me.
Wow.
But when I look at it in the context of all the other movies, like Empire, the ending is like the perfect ending for Empire. I feel like I think there's a better ending to get us to Empire.
You wish that he had known that he was going to make Empire.
Yes, exactly. Because it still would have been the medal ceremony, but it seemed like a little too chicken pop.
That's pretty awesome. I got nothing. 310 to Yuma.
I was going to say
Terrible
that.
ending.
I was actually going to say that.
That ending is amazing.
Next one.
Just saying.
Fiery Frog. Hey guys, what's the worst movie you ever paid money to see in the theaters?
The Mummy.
Kingpin.
Oh.
I walked out. This is the only movie I've ever walked out of the theater.
Dukes of Hazzard.
You paid to see Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Bad choice.
Bad choice.
I see lots of movies.
That's bad choice pants.
Jeff, Alex, Dan, and Monsieur Rabier.
I
This
believe
is from
that's...
MacGuffin, by the way.
Oh, dude.
Fan of
I'll tell you later.
of,
I saw somebody's license plate. I walked by, the license plate said MacGuffin or M. Guffin, and I was like, pfft. I almost took a picture and emailed it to you, but you can't do that on the iPhone.
Ketchup or tomato sauce? If tomato sauce, tomato or tomato?
Tomato sauce. Tomato.
Ketchup,
I'm Italian. What? Come on.
ketchup, and it's tomato.
Tomato sauce.
No, you never say that.
Moron.
But
like
tomato sauce, definitely. I put that on everything.
cool.
Ketchup is amazing.
I eat grilled cheese and tomato sauce.
Okay,
Oh, I
we
like
gotta
this
wrap
one. I like
this.
this one.
We
I
gotta
like
wrap it
this
up. Last one.
Ending white lights.
Okay.
If you absolutely had to switch places with one other real life person, who would it be and why?
I got an answer.
Okay, what's your answer?
Charlie Rose. I think he has the best job in the entire planet.
Wow.
He gets to talk to everyone.
Not Bill Gates.
Charlie
not
Rose.
Sheikh Mohammed Dabala from the frickin' Dubai who owns,
Charlie
Scotland.
Rose. He's like an encyclopedia, and he gets to meet everybody who's interesting in the entire world and just have a conversation with them.
That's pretty cool. That's like the game.
Yeah,
if
the
you could
game,
have a
yeah.
conversation.
What about you, Dan?
I don't really have one, dude.
You wouldn't want to switch places with Steven Spielberg
I know,
or
but
George
okay,
Lucas.
sure, that. There's nothing too sophisticated about that. Not like anything else I say is sophisticated.
Yeah, I'd love to be making, Peter Berg. I wish I had his career.
Yours.
Making movies.
Really? That's
Because
interesting.
the explosion's about to happen, bro. It's like
Oh, really? We're
10,
gonna keep going?
9. Hey, wait, how much time?
I
do
don't
we
know
have?
if I. No, we're out of time. We're out.
Say it.
I don't know. I have none. I have Bill Gates because he got a shit ton of money. I know. All right, everybody. That is the close of the show. We have a couple thank yous to throw out.
Yes.
We got a really cool Munchkin image.
Yeah, we've been talking about how much we love Munchkin the card game.
Loving
In
it.
fact, our buddy DeGraw from the forums.
Yes, Ryan hooked
sent
us up with some massive amounts of stuff.
We haven't played them yet.
We haven't played
The
it
original
yet. I know.
Munchkin.
We've been busy. We got preparing to go to London and such.
And now we're currently in London. We should.
But thank you,
Play
DeGraw.
Munchkin in London?
But look
That's
at
what I was
this
thinking, but
cool
then Jeff won't be
image
down.
of
Dude, Munchkin
us
cards.
as Munchkin cards.
Although not
Dude.
really me as a Munchkin card,
What
but
are
it is
hater
my
pants?
hater pants.
It represents you.
It does.
Awesome.
I love that hater pants represents me.
And I like
That
that.
was Matt Jolin who sent that in, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you, Matt.
cool. Thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you, Matt.
It's cool
And
that I
thank you,
make
Ryan,
people
for
lose a
hooking us
level,
up.
but I think
Only
more than
one
one
treasure.
treasure?
yeah, one treasure for defeating me.
It's a little jank.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Munchkin in a while. We still love it. If you haven't played, gather some
Play.
friends.
In fact,
play Munchkin.
let's say our favorite Munchkins. I know mine.
Favorite types? Okay,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Oh.
Mine is Star because it was our first one,
Super.
and Phil.
Phil.
Star
Phil
and
was
Phil?
fun.
I'm super because it's comics. I love comics.
I'm actually going to say Super 2, and it's because I got the unlimited powers thing and fucking owned, though I don't think I won the game.
There's another email thing that we got that I have to bring up because
Okay.
it made me
Puke?
amazed.
Oh.
No,
Well, you
no.
went.
There's a guy by the name of Edwin Johnson who watches our show.
I thought it was like.
Reginald Bell.
I believe he's the third, Edwin Johnson the third, I believe.
Wow.
They recently had an Edwin Johnson the fourth. He and his lovely wife
Nice.
gave birth to a boy. He said he was watching our show on his iPod at the exact moment that his baby came into the world.
What?
So I believe,
We're the godparents. Right? Isn't that
that's the
legal?
rule.
It's a Radley.
I believe
It's a rat
that this
thing.
is official confirmation of the very first Totally Rad baby.
Dude!
Isn't that? And the cooler thing, even cooler.
Brava.
Wow, yes. But even cooler than that, he's in the U.S. Army. In
Dude!
Europe, stationed in Europe. So,
Dude, bravo on that as
and
well.
even cooler than that, they call the baby Logan.
oh,
Like
Wolvie?
Wolverine.
Listen,
This is going to be the best
Edwin.
kid ever.
And there's a picture of him. by the
smoke
way.
a cigar on behalf of us.
Which
Dad knows how
Teach
now.
your kid to smoke a cigar
Which
on
we will
behalf
not
of
send
me.
you or pay for.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. We love to hear good Rads
amazing.
news.
It's
Like
awesome.
that's really cool. We get so many cool
And
stories
birthday,
that just
the
like.
4th.
I know. Hey, what's up, boo boo?
Gotcha,
Blue, blue,
cool.
sorry we cursed so much.
he just terrified him.
I know. He was like, yeah,
Oh, so
dude.
he totally started crying, and now they're laughing because they're there
Because he's
watching and he's
crying.
crying, and they're like, "Oh, it's all meta."
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all
it's
meta.
clear that baby will become a man before you ever do.
Ah, touche. Speaking of touche, why don't you head over to our new website, TotallyRadShow.com. There doesn't need to be a reason to
I thought you were going to
segue.
say bring your touche over to our.
I was, well, I just,
Tushy.
Yeah, touche.
tushy-wishy. But anyway, head over to TotallyRadShow.com. We've just revamped the site. It's amazing. We're super excited. You can get really cool new stuff over there.
Read about our adventures
Read
in
about
Europe.
our adventures in
They're happening
Europe.
right now.
As we speak.
Yep. Also, send us an email.
Yes, please.
At fans@totallyradshow.com. That's where you can send totally rad backgrounds like the one you see behind
Or
us.
Totally Rad Babies, like the one you see behind us.
Yeah. Also, there are forums. You should
Send us
register.
your totally rad babies.
baby.
I can't wait to go to the mailbox again. I'm like, oof, perishable?
Remember that time when we were forced to adopt 38 babies?
We just sent
That's
them.
when we start our rad army.
Yes.
Anyway, the forums is what I'm supposed to talk about.
Or just talk
I enjoy
about
the
them.
forums. There are really cool people there, and they enjoy posting.
I am also a robot.
You should be one of those cool people.
A forum bot?
Go to totallyradshow.com, click on forums, sign up, have fun.
Dude, do it.
Totes.
Hey, Dan, is there
Hold on,
anything
stop
else?
saying that.
Is there anything else that I should
About
be
wraps it
doing?
up. About wraps it up.
Shouldn't be going to any spaces?
What if I have
No,
friends?
we're good right here.
Virtual friends.
Virtual friends. that wanna
Oh,
connect
yeah,
with-
sorry.
Oh, wow! I thought you were talking to...
Friendster.
Friendster?
I am fucking.
No, you're
didn't
you're
know.
bringing
that
your
was my
shit
friend.
back.
You ruined my Friendster joke.
It was a better joke than us thinking
I
that
don't
you
know. It was
Sorry,
funny.
I spoiled sports.
He wasn't joking.
MySpace.com slash Totally Rad Show.
Peacock.
.com.
Totally Rad
Wait,
Show.
no. MySpace.com slash Totally Rad Show. Have I been saying .com at the end of
No,
that all
not
the time?
no.
Okay.
Don't
You
worry.
know, Steve puts it up correctly.
Become our friends on MySpace. Find out when a
What
new
movie?
show has just appeared online. Find out what movie review ahead of time. Find out what comments people are leaving
status
on
of your-
MySpace.
Find out what other people say.
Find out the status of your baby that you've given up to.
Yes.
meet chicks online.
Dude,
Find
find out our marital status and religion.
perhaps
you want
our
to.
employment and
Yes, and or college
centimeters of height.
education.
A quote we enjoy.
Our headlines.
Oh boy.
All right.
Anyway,
There's that, and there's also iTunes. Subscribe to
Yes.
us, please, on that. And also what we wear.
is hoodies and shirts and hoodies, maybe other things, not
Hopefully
so
by now
sure.
there's
Head over to jinx.com/TRS /TRS.
Or just click to it on our website.
do like jug
We
band.
right now are what Alex likes to refer to as
Punchy Monkey.
Punchy.
So that's
for
it for
yourself,
this
I'm a
week's
pro.
edition of The Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
That is Dan Trachtenberg.
And that is Jeff Canada.
We're punching people.
All right, this week in movies, we're talking about Darjeeling Limited. The new Wes Anderson. Owen Wilson.
Should hope you're not confused. Not just the press.
Owen Wilson tried to kill himself, Dan.
This week, we're going to talk about Darjeeling Limited.
It's a horrible name for a movie. I'm just saying.
The new Wes Anderson.
Big fan of Wes Anderson. I'm a big fan. Dan's a big fan.